Hey Pisces, I want to share something with you today that came through in the cards, and honestly, it is about understanding the patterns you have been seeing around you. You know those moments when you feel like you are watching the same movie play out again and again with certain people? The universe is pulling back the curtain right now to show you what is really happening beneath the surface. I have been doing tarot for years now, and there is something about the energy coming through for Pisces right now that feels like a crucial wake-up call. Not in a scary way, but in that way when a good friend sits you down and says, look, we need to talk about what is actually going on here. And what is showing up is this whole pattern around victim mentality, around people who twist situations to make themselves look like they are suffering, when really they are the ones causing harm. The thing about being a Pisces is that you feel everything so deeply. You are empathetic almost to a fault sometimes, and people know this about you. They know you will give them the benefit of the doubt, that you will try to understand their perspective, that you will extend compassion even when maybe you should not. And some people, the selfish ones, they have learned to weaponize this beautiful quality of yours. What I am seeing in the cards today is that you have been going through something, a storm that you already recognize. You are not blind to what is happening. Part of you already knows. But sometimes we need that external confirmation, that validation that says, yes, what you are sensing is real. Trust your intuition on this one. So let me pull these cards and walk through what is coming up for you, because the message here is so important for where you are heading. The first card I pulled, and this one jumped out of the deck, which always gets my attention, is the Ten of Cups. Now, normally when people see this card, they think, oh, wonderful, happiness, fulfillment, emotional completion. And yes, that is part of its energy. But what is interesting about it showing up here in this reading is what it is revealing about the contrast between authentic happiness and performed happiness. The Ten of Cups is showing me that you have this vision, this ideal of what harmony and emotional fulfillment should look like. Maybe it is about your family, maybe it is about a relationship, maybe it is about a friendship circle or your community. You have invested so much emotional energy into trying to create this beautiful, peaceful, loving environment. And here is where it gets complex, because someone in your sphere has been using that desire against you. What I am seeing is that there is a person or maybe multiple people who have been presenting themselves as part of your Ten of Cups vision. They show up, they say the right things, they perform the role of being part of this harmonious picture. But underneath, their intentions are completely different. They are not actually invested in collective happiness or mutual support. They are invested in what they can extract from the situation. This card is revealing to me that these individuals have been playing on your desire for peace and harmony. Every time you have tried to address a problem or set a boundary, they flip the script. Suddenly, they are the victim. Suddenly, you are the one being unreasonable. Suddenly, you are the one disturbing the peace by bringing up legitimate concerns. They use your own values against you, your desire for that Ten of Cups harmony, to keep you from calling out their behavior. And here is the karma piece that is so important. The Ten of Cups in this position is telling me that the universe has been documenting everything. Every manipulation, every time they played victim while actually being the aggressor, every tear you cried, because you blamed yourself for not being understanding enough. The cosmic record is complete. You have been trying so hard to maintain peace and create genuine connection, and they have been exploiting that effort. But this card is also showing me your breakthrough. You are starting to see the difference between real emotional fulfillment and the illusion of it. Real Ten of Cups energy involves everyone contributing, everyone being honest, everyone taking responsibility for their part. What you have been dealing with is a counterfeit version where you do all the emotional labor while others just take and then cry victim when you finally say enough. The energy I am getting is that you are beginning to trust yourself again. You are beginning to recognize that wanting genuine love and harmony does not mean accepting fake versions of it. It does not mean letting people hide behind victim narratives while they actively harm you. True Ten of Cups energy has integrity at its foundation, and what you have been experiencing lacks that crucial element. Something else coming through with this card is about family patterns or learned behaviors. The Ten of Cups often relates to family and ancestry, and I am sensing that maybe you have seen this pattern before, maybe in your childhood or in your family system. Someone who always played the martyr, who always twisted situations to avoid accountability, who taught you that keeping the peace meant accepting bad behavior. And now you are breaking that generational pattern. You are saying, no, actual peace requires actual honesty, and I am not going to pretend anymore. The karmic weight of this is significant. These people who have been using victim mentality as a shield, they are about to face the consequences of their choices. Not because you are seeking revenge, but because that is just how energy works. You cannot indefinitely take from others while playing innocent. Eventually, the universe balances the scales. And for you, the Ten of Cups is saying that your path forward involves surrounding yourself with people who actually want mutual joy, not people who want to drain you while pretending they are the ones suffering. Moving to the next card, I pulled the Hierophant, and this is where things get even more interesting, because this card is all about traditional structures, established systems, and conventional wisdom. The Hierophant represents authority, tradition, sometimes religious or spiritual institutions, and definitely the rules and norms that society tells us we should follow. What is coming through with this card in your reading is that these people with the victim mentality, they have been using social conventions and traditional expectations to manipulate you. They know what society says you should do. They know the scripts about forgiveness, about family loyalty, about being the bigger person, about not rocking the boat. And they weaponize these teachings. The Hierophant energy here is showing me someone who might quote spiritual teachings at you, or religious principles, or family values, but they only do it when it serves them. When it is convenient for their narrative, suddenly they are all about what is traditional or proper or right. But when those same principles would require them to be accountable, suddenly those rules do not apply. I am seeing this play out in a few possible ways. Maybe there is someone who uses spiritual bypassing with you. Every time you try to address real harm, they hit you with some version of, we are all one, or everything happens for a reason, or you need to forgive and move on. They dress up their avoidance of accountability in spiritual language, making it seem like you are the one who is not evolved enough if you have a problem with their behavior. Or maybe it is more about family or cultural traditions. Someone who says we do not air our dirty laundry, or family is everything, or you need to respect your elders, but only when it means you have to stay quiet about their bad behavior. The moment you suggest they need to follow those same values, suddenly the rules are different. The Hierophant is revealing that there is a twisted version of moral authority at play here. These individuals have positioned themselves as somehow more enlightened or more moral or more righteous than you, even while doing deeply harmful things. And they have used that false moral high ground to make you question yourself. But here is what the Hierophant is actually teaching you in this reading. True spiritual wisdom, true moral authority, true adherence to higher principles requires integrity. It requires consistency. You cannot preach love and light while actively harming people. You cannot claim to value family while destroying trust. You cannot position yourself as spiritually evolved while manipulating others. The karma here is that these people have been borrowing authority that was never truly theirs. They have been standing on a foundation of false righteousness. And structures built on lies eventually crumble. The Hierophant in this position is telling me that their house of cards is getting shaky. People are starting to see through the performance. The community or family or friend group is beginning to notice the inconsistencies. What I really love about the Hierophant showing up for you here is that it is also about you reclaiming your own sense of inner authority. You do not need external validation to know what is right and wrong. You do not need someone else's permission to trust your own moral compass. The highest teaching of the Hierophant is that true wisdom comes from aligning your actions with your values consistently, and that is what you have been doing even when it was hard. There is also something here about breaking free from false teachers or false guides. Maybe someone positioned themselves as a mentor or guide in your life, someone who was supposed to help you grow or heal, but instead they used that position of trust to manipulate you. The Hierophant is saying that you are graduating from that lesson. You are learning to discern between genuine wisdom and performative spirituality. The violent mode that was mentioned in the theme of this reading, I am seeing how it connects to the Hierophant. When people who hide behind moral authority or spiritual superiority start to get called out, they often escalate. They double down on the righteousness act. They might even get aggressive while still claiming to be the victim, still claiming to be the one who is spiritually correct. Watch for this energy. Watch for people who respond to your boundaries with an explosion of how dare you question them, all while wrapping it in language about values or principles. The karmic lesson here is profound. The universe is showing you the difference between performance and practice, between people who talk about values and people who live them. And you are being guided to align yourself with the real deal, to stop accepting substitute versions of integrity. Now, the third card that came through is the Five of Wands. And oh my goodness, this card is so perfect for what you are dealing with because this is the card of conflict, competition, chaos, everyone fighting for dominance. When I see the Five of Wands, I see a situation where there is a lot of clash and discord, where people are more interested in winning than in resolving anything. What is showing up with this card is that the people around you with victim mentality are in combat mode right now. They are not interested in peace. They are not interested in understanding. They are interested in dominating the narrative and winning at any cost. And the violent mode mentioned in your theme, this is where it is manifesting most clearly. The Five of Wands is revealing that you have been in the middle of unnecessary conflict. These are battles that did not need to happen, arguments that were manufactured, drama that was created out of nothing, and it has all been a strategy. When someone knows they are wrong, when someone knows they have hurt you or taken advantage of you, sometimes the best defense is a good offense. So they start fights, they create chaos, they make sure there is so much smoke and noise that nobody can see the real issues clearly. I am seeing that you might have walked into situations recently where you were immediately on the defensive, where you were immediately fighting just to be heard, or to clarify what you actually said, or to defend yourself against accusations that made no sense. That is Five of Wands energy being weaponized against you. These people are keeping you so busy defending yourself that you do not have energy left to actually hold them accountable. The thing about the Five of Wands is that it represents unproductive conflict. Nobody wins. Everyone just exhausts themselves. And that might be exactly the point for these manipulative people in your life. If they can keep you tired and confused and constantly fighting small battles, you will not have the clarity or energy to step back and see the bigger picture of what they are really doing. But here is where the karma comes in beautifully. The Five of Wands cannot be sustained forever. Constant conflict, constant chaos, constant combat mode, it burns people out. And the people who have been creating this drama, they are about to hit their own wall. You can only maintain that level of aggression and chaos for so long before it starts to consume you from the inside. What I am seeing is that while they have been trying to exhaust you with all this conflict, they have actually been exhausting themselves. The mask is getting harder to maintain. The energy required to keep up the victim act while simultaneously being aggressive and combative, it is draining them. And soon, very soon, they are not going to be able to keep all the balls in the air. The Five of Wands is also showing me that other people are getting tired of the drama too. If this is happening in a family setting or a friend group or a workplace, the constant conflict is wearing everyone down. And people are starting to notice who is actually creating the problems. They are starting to see who brings peace and who brings chaos. Your reputation is actually being protected by your consistency, while theirs is being damaged by their volatility. There is also a message here about choosing your battles. The Five of Wands can sometimes be a reminder that not every fight is worth having. Some conflicts are distractions. Some arguments are traps designed to make you look bad or waste your energy. The universe is giving you permission to walk away from manufactured drama. You do not have to engage with every provocation. You do not have to defend yourself against every accusation. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is refuse to participate in the chaos. The karmic justice I am seeing with this card is that these aggressors, these people in violent mode, they are about to find themselves fighting shadows. As you withdraw your energy from their drama, as you stop engaging with the chaos, they are going to be left swinging at air. And that is when the consequences of their behavior will really catch up with them, when they no longer have you to blame or target or use as a scapegoat. The fourth card is the Tower. And when this card shows up, it always gets people nervous because it represents sudden upheaval, structures crumbling, truth being revealed in shocking ways. But in your reading, Pisces, the Tower is actually incredibly positive for you personally, even though it might not feel comfortable in the moment. What the Tower is showing me is that illusions are about to shatter. False structures are about to come down. And specifically, the false narratives that these victim mentality people have built around themselves are about to collapse in spectacular fashion. The Tower does not mess around. When truth needs to come out, it comes out fast and undeniable. I am seeing that there has been a whole construction, a whole story that these people have built about who they are and who you are. Maybe they have painted themselves as the perpetual victim, the misunderstood one, the person who is just so sensitive and wounded that everyone needs to walk on eggshells around them. Meanwhile, they have painted you as the problem, the difficult one, the person who is not compassionate enough or understanding enough. The Tower is telling me that this false construction is unstable. It has always been unstable because it is built on lies, and lies require constant maintenance and energy to uphold. Every time reality threatens to break through, they have to do more manipulation, tell more lies, create more drama to shore up their crumbling story. But the Tower energy says that you cannot prop up a lie forever. What often happens with Tower moments is that one small thing gives way, and then the whole structure collapses like dominoes. Maybe someone witnesses something they cannot deny or explain away. Maybe a lie gets told to the wrong person who knows the truth. Maybe the person just slips up and reveals themselves in a moment when they thought nobody was watching. However it happens, the Tower promises that the truth will out. For you personally, this might feel chaotic when it happens. Tower moments are rarely gentle. You might find out things that shock you, things that are even worse than what you suspected. You might see these people completely lose their composure when their lies stop working. You might witness them scrambling to regain control of the narrative as it slips through their fingers. But here is the gift of the Tower for you. Once false structures fall, they cannot be rebuilt in the same way. Once people see the truth, really see it, they cannot unsee it. The Tower clears away what needs to go so that something real and authentic can be built in its place. This is the universe doing you a favor, even if it feels rough while it is happening. The karma aspect of the Tower is particularly strong. These people who have been in violent mode, who have been aggressive while playing victim, who have been manipulating everyone around them, they are about to face a reckoning. The Tower does not discriminate. It brings down whatever is false. And their entire identity has been built on falseness. I am also seeing with the Tower that there might be a public element to this. The Tower often involves things becoming visible to others, secrets being exposed, private manipulations becoming public knowledge. If these people have been maintaining different faces for different audiences, telling different stories to different people, the Tower energy might bring all of that into the light at once. And when people compare notes and realize they have all been lied to in different ways, that is when the real collapse happens. Something the Tower is specifically highlighting for you is about liberation. Yes, It is going to be uncomfortable to watch structures fall and truth be revealed. But on the other side of this, you are going to feel so much lighter. You have been carrying the weight of other people's lies, trying to make sense of things that were never meant to make sense, trying to find harmony in situations that were fundamentally dishonest. The Tower is going to free you from all of that. There is also a warning embedded in the Tower, and this is important. When cornered, when their lies are exposed, these victim mentality people might escalate to truly dangerous levels. The violent mode could get worse before it gets better. They might try to do maximum damage on their way down, spreading more lies, trying to turn more people against you, even making threats. The Tower is telling you to be prepared for this possibility and to protect yourself accordingly. But ultimately, the Tower cannot be stopped once it is in motion. And the karma here is that everything they have done in the dark is coming to light. Every manipulation, every lie, every time they played victim while actively harming someone, it is all going to be visible. And the consequences of that visibility are going to be significant and lasting. The fifth card, the Six of Pentacles, is fascinating in this reading because this card is all about giving and receiving, about generosity and charity, about the flow of resources and energy between people. And what it is revealing about your situation is so important. The Six of Pentacles is showing me that you have been the giver. You have been generous with your time, your energy, your emotional support, your resources, your understanding. You have extended yourself over and over for these people who are now showing their true colors. And they have been the receivers, taking and taking, while contributing very little or nothing in return. But here is the manipulation that the Six of Pentacles is exposing. These people have not just been passive receivers. They have actively positioned themselves as deserving of your generosity, while simultaneously making you feel guilty or selfish anytime you needed something in return. They have created a dynamic where the energy flow is completely one-directional, and they have used victim mentality to maintain that imbalance. I am seeing scenarios where maybe you helped someone financially, or gave them a place to stay, or supported them through a difficult time, and instead of gratitude, you got entitlement. Instead of them working to improve their situation, they made it your responsibility to keep supporting them. And anytime you suggested they need to take some accountability or make some changes, suddenly you were the bad guy. Suddenly you were not being compassionate enough. Suddenly they were the victim of your cruelty for having boundaries about your own resources. The Six of Pentacles in its reversed energy, which is what I am picking up here, shows exploitation disguised as need. It shows people who have learned that playing helpless and victimized gets them what they want from generous people like you. And they have no intention of ever balancing the scales because the imbalance serves them perfectly. What is really insidious is that they might even use spiritual or moral language around this. They might suggest that truly generous people give without expecting anything in return, that real love is unconditional, that if you were really evolved, you would not need reciprocity. But that is not wisdom. That is manipulation. The Six of Pentacles in its healthy expression is about balanced exchange, about both giving and receiving, about helping people in ways that empower them rather than creating dependency. The karma coming through with this card is about the law of circulation. Energy has to flow, resources have to circulate, and when someone blocks that flow by only taking and never giving, they cut themselves off from the abundance of the universe. What I am seeing is that as you stop being their source, as you close off the tap of your generosity to people who were exploiting it, they are going to find that other sources dry up too. The universe does not support one-sided dynamics indefinitely. These people have been getting away with exploitation because you allowed it, because your generous nature made you vulnerable to their tactics. But as you step back, as you stop enabling their victim mentality, the karmic consequences of their behavior are going to catch up with them fast. I am also seeing that the Six of Pentacles is revealing something about false generosity from these people. Maybe they occasionally did something for you, made some small gesture, and then held it over your head forever. Maybe they gave in ways that created obligation rather than genuine goodwill. Maybe their giving always came with strings attached, while yours was offered freely. The contrast is going to become really visible now. The beautiful thing the Six of Pentacles is showing me about your future is that you are learning discernment about where you invest your energy. You are learning the difference between helping someone who is genuinely struggling and enabling someone who is professionally helpless. You are learning that real generosity flows both ways, that healthy relationships involve reciprocity, and that it is not selfish to expect people to take responsibility for their own lives. As you reclaim your energy and resources from people who were draining you, the Six of Pentacles promises that you are going to attract different kinds of people into your life. People who appreciate what you offer. People who give back in their own ways. People who understand that relationship is about mutual support, not one person being the perpetual giver and the other being the perpetual taker. The karmic lesson is clear. Those who have been taking advantage of your generosity are about to face a world where that endless supply is gone. And without you to blame for their problems, without you to drain for resources, they are going to have to face themselves and the consequences of their choices. Meanwhile, you are going to discover what it feels like to have your generosity honored and reciprocated. The final card I pulled is Four of Swords, and this one really brings everything together in terms of what you need to do moving forward. The Four of Swords is about rest, recuperation, strategic withdrawal, and recovery. It is the card of stepping back from battle, taking time to heal, and gaining perspective from a place of peace. What the Four of Swords is telling you, Pisces, is that you need to remove yourself from the chaos. Not forever necessarily, but for now, you need distance. You have been in the thick of it, dealing with these people and their drama and their victim mentality and their violent mode, and it has taken a toll on you. The Four of Swords is saying that it is time to prioritize your own healing and recovery. I am seeing that you might feel guilty about stepping back. Your compassionate nature might make you feel like you are abandoning people or being selfish by focusing on yourself. But the Four of Swords is very clear that this is not optional, this is necessary. You cannot help anyone. You cannot make good decisions. You cannot even see the situation clearly when you are exhausted and depleted. The Four of Swords often depicts someone lying down in a position of rest, sometimes in a church or sacred space, suggesting that this withdrawal is actually a spiritual practice. For you, stepping back from these toxic dynamics is not running away. It is creating sacred space for your own recovery and clarity. What I am picking up is that during this period of rest and withdrawal, you are going to gain so much perspective. Things that were confusing when you were in the middle of them are going to become crystal clear. Patterns you could not quite put your finger on are going to become obvious. And the manipulation tactics that were being used on you, you are going to see them so clearly that they will never work on you the same way again. The Four of Swords is also about mental and emotional healing. You have been through a storm. You said you already know about this storm, and storms cause damage. Even if you made it through, even if you survived, you still need time to repair and recover. Your nervous system needs to settle. Your emotional body needs to heal. Your mental energy needs to be restored. There is also a strategic element to the Four of Swords that I want to highlight. This is not about giving up or surrendering. This is about strategic retreat. This is about pulling back so you can assess the situation from a position of strength and clarity. This is about conserving your energy instead of wasting it on battles that drain you. The karma piece with the Four of Swords is interesting because while you are resting and recovering, the people who have been attacking you are going to keep going. They are going to keep creating drama, keep playing victim, keep being aggressive and chaotic. But without you there to react, without you there to be their target or their supply or their scapegoat, their actions are going to become increasingly transparent to everyone around them. Your absence is going to reveal so much. When you stop engaging, when you stop trying to fix or explain or defend, people are going to see these individuals for who they really are. The drama they create will be obviously their own creation. The victim narrative will start to fall apart. when you are not there to be cast as the villain in their story. The Four of Swords is promising you that this period of rest and withdrawal is going to be deeply healing in ways you might not expect. You are going to remember who you are, apart from these toxic dynamics. You are going to reconnect with your own inner peace. You are going to restore your energy and your clarity. And from that restored place, you are going to be able to move forward with wisdom and strength. I also want to mention that the Four of Swords can indicate a time of spiritual reflection and connection. As you pull back from the chaos of these earthly dramas, you might find yourself deepening your spiritual practice, connecting more with your intuition, really listening to your inner guidance. Pisces, you are naturally spiritual and intuitive, but all this chaos has probably been drowning out your inner voice. The Four of Swords is giving you permission and encouragement to turn inward and listen. The final karmic message from the Four of Swords is this: sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Sometimes refusing to engage is the ultimate boundary. Sometimes walking away is the strongest stance. These people in violent mode are expecting you to fight back, to defend yourself, to engage with their chaos. The Four of Swords is saying, do not give them what they expect. Rest instead. Recover instead. Let karma do its work while you focus on your own healing. So Pisces, looking at all 6 cards together, here is what I see. You have been dealing with people who have weaponized victim mentality, people who hide behind false moral authority, people who create chaos and conflict to avoid accountability. You have been generous and compassionate and patient, and they have exploited those beautiful qualities of yours. But the karma is coming for them. The Tower is going to bring down their false narratives. The consequences of their exploitation are catching up with them. Other people are starting to see through their act. And while all of that plays out, the Four of Swords is telling you to step back, rest, recover, and let the universe handle the justice portion. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to expose them or convince anyone or prove your side of the story. The truth is going to come out on its own because lies cannot stand forever. Your job now is to focus on your own healing, to protect your peace, and to prepare for the next chapter that is going to be so much lighter and clearer than what you have been going through. Trust what you already know about this storm you are in. Trust your intuition about these people, and trust that stepping back to take care of yourself is not weakness or abandonment, it is wisdom. The victim mentality, people can keep performing their drama for whoever is still willing to watch, but you do not have to be in the audience anymore. Take care of yourself, Pisces. The clarity and peace you are seeking is coming. And it starts with giving yourself permission to rest and recover from all of this.